It is the ultimate sacrifice, putting your life in danger to save others, and it's a sacrifice made by pediatric surgeon Dr. Donald Liu.
It was a summer morning when Dr. Liu and his family were enjoying a day on the beach. Dr. Liu noticed two boys who got caught in a riptide. He jumped into the water to save them, but was also pulled under. Dr.
Liu gave his life that day to save the two boys. He left behind a wife and 3 children. And now, Dr. Liu's 14-year-old daughter is trying to keep her father's memory alive while helping other kids do the same.
Those are my parents. Basically the cutest people in the entire world. I hope I have something like they did one day.
Genieveve Liu's dad died 2 years ago, rescuing 2 boys from Lake Michigan.
My dad pushed the 2 of them back into shore, but 20 minutes went and just time went on, and eventually his body came back, but he drowned. He was a pediatric surgeon, so he sort of lived like he died, saving kids, I guess.
She says she lost the one person who understood her most, and she never felt so alone.
There's so many people out there who have lost a parent at a young age, but yet you feel like the only person in the entire world who it's ever happened to.
1 in 10 kids in the U.S. under 16 loses a parent each year. But Genieveve says you'd never know it. She says she looked online for support and found only medical and religious advice and some blog posts.
It feels like for something so profound and something so prevalent, there's nothing out there.
The 14-year-old took matters into her own hands. She founded the nonprofit organization Surviving Life After a Parent Died or Slapped.
I just sort of came up with it because with the situation, as cliche as it sounds, you're sort of slapped in the face. I mean, you're totally caught off guard. It's like the floor has come out beneath you and you don't know what to do.
Slapped is based on 5 components: an interactive forum, articles, interviews, ask an expert, and a tribute page.
It's just a place basically where it's a community where teens can go and realize that just, you're not alone in the situation.
14-year-old Isabel Levin, a friend and contributor, says she's found a lot of comfort in Slapped since her mom died of cancer 3 years ago.
It makes you feel part of a club or a community rather than alone.
The girls know nothing can bring their parents back, but at least having a place to keep their memories alive will help them move on with their own lives.
Genieveve says besides helping to find closure, this experience has inspired her to change her career aspirations from lawyer to social media entrepreneur. She says the biggest lesson that she's learned is that there is no right or wrong way to feel when you lose a loved one, and it's okay to trust someone.
That's such a tough age anyway. 13, 14 years old, she's so mature.
Yeah.
And death in itself is difficult enough to deal with. Imagine being so young and losing someone so close to you. Well, experts say although teenagers usually understand the repercussions of death, it can still be very hard for many of them to cope with the tragedy. They're at a point in their lives when they may feel embarrassed or self-conscious by displays of grief. Here are a few telltale signs that may indicate your loved one is grieving. Experts at the American Academy of Pediatrics say grief can be expressed through a change in conduct or a decline in academic performance. You may notice your teenager is depressed. Another indicator they're grieving is if your teenager has turned to alcohol or drugs to numb emotional pain. You may notice they're overeating or even undereating. And perhaps your teenager is sleeping more than usual or not getting enough sleep. Experts say a teenager who shows no reaction to grief may also lead you to think that they're coping well, but that may actually not be the case. Experts say it's best to confront grief. It's part of the healing process. And if you would like to learn more about a teenager's understanding of death, go to delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab. Well, they say there's no grief even comparable to that of a parent who's lost a child. Still ahead on Delmarva Life, imagine being able to prevent that grief by saving a child's life. Well, there's one way you can be part of that process, and it involves being prepared when your child is born. We'll explain.
Plus, giving babies a healthy start is the idea behind the March of Dimes. Although the organization has come a long way in helping the world of medicine improve survival rates for premature babies, so much more needs to be done. How you can help. But first, we've heard about our kids dealing with the loss of a loved one. Dr. Oz has more on how to help them deal with their grief.
Hi, I'm Dr. Oz. Did you know grief affects children as much as their parents? The symptoms include aggressive behavior, acting out explosive emotions, and asking the same questions repeatedly. Be a good listener. Encourage honest questions and avoid lies and half-truths. Don't be afraid to seek support with mental health professionals.